What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, give me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, the community post. You already know the vibes, man. And it's Wednesday, so you already know what that means. It's time for your AEW Dynamite review. And this is another one of those special edition AEW Dynamites. It's Dynamite Grand Slam, baby. It's Arthur Ashe Arena. You already know what time it is. One of those things where it's just an AEW tradition. And I gotta say, man, this was a really good episode of Dynamite. This, to me, felt like, outside of the commercials, it felt like a little mini pay-per-view. You know, most AEW pay-per-views last like 17 hours. So we got a lot done in these 2 hours of Dynamite. And I'm gonna just go ahead and get this out the way because this is something I kind of figured was going to happen, but I was still surprised that it happened nonetheless, and that is the debut of Montel Vontavious Porter, aka MVP. That is right, MVP is all elites. Prince Nana was out there talking to Tony Schiavone, giving us an update about whose house? Swerve's house. He's saying that mentally Swerve is ready to come back for the people. He's ready to come back for the fans, even though Swerve does evil things. Swerve is being pushed as like this big giant baby face. And you know, Prince Nana's out there doing the dance. He's hyping up the people. But he said that Swerve still isn't physically ready to compete. And as Prince Nana is talking, you hear MVP come out. He's coming out there, he's big upping Swerve, he's big upping AEW. He's saying that Swerve is a phenomenal talent. He is amazing. He was a tremendous AEW world champion. And everything that happened to Swerve wasn't Swerve's fault. It was actually Prince Nana's fault. Simply because Hangman did all these things to Swerve. He burned down his house. He pretty much left him for dead. And Hangman is pretty much out here living his best life with his mustache, harassing different talents in the back. MVP was pretty much saying this man is still living, and that's all Prince Nana's fault. And MVP says that whenever Swerve wants to be taken more seriously, he says to tell Swerve to give MVP a call, and he hands him his card. So after all these weeks of speculation, MVP is officially in AEW. And if MVP is in AEW, that means Bobby Lashley is not too far behind. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are predicting the same thing that I'm predicting. And that is Swerve to reject MVP, to reject what business dealings, wink wink nudge nudge, MVP is offering. And this is going to lead to a feud between Swerve and hopefully Bobby Lashley, and maybe Shelton Benjamin come up. And, you know, we can get some form of the Hurt Business, now known as the Hurt Syndicate. This was pretty cool to see MVP officially pulling up in AEW. But as far as the rest of the show goes, surprisingly, to my surprise, it kicked off with Nigel McGuinness calling out Bryan Danielson. Everyone was saying that they haven't seen Bryan Danielson all day. Nigel makes his way out to the ring. He tells the referee to make the 10 count to officially declare Nigel the winner, and that Bryan Danielson fears Nigel McGuinness. And at first, Bryan Danielson's theme hits is his normal theme, and then he doesn't come out. So as the referee is counting, you hear the final countdown playing, and then Bryan Danielson makes his way out to the ring, and him and Nigel McGuinness have an awesome match. And this is the first official singles match Nigel McGuinness has wrestled in quite some time. And I gotta say, Nigel looked good, and he looked to be in tremendous shape. And it kind of started off a little bit, you know, how you expect it to start off, because like I said, this is Nigel's first match in years. But the match itself was fire. Once Nigel got into his groove, you wouldn't be able to tell that he hasn't wrestled in so long. You would think that, you know, he wrestles every week. He looks like he's in great shape. Him and Bryan had an amazing match. There's Nigel lines and Busaiku knees and yes locks and yes kicks and whatnot. And Bryan Danielson made Nigel McGuinness tap out. And the way AEW does that little weird censorship noise, I couldn't tell if Nigel said thank you or fuck you. But Nigel McGuinness did indeed tap out. So, amazing match. After the match, Christian comes out with his contract, his Money in the Bank contract or whatever, and I'm assuming that it's not official until Christian signs it, because Christian was about to sign the contract to challenge Bryan Danielson for the championship. But then Kip Sabian comes out of nowhere and takes Christian's pin. Christian goes to chase Kip, but he is confronted by the Blackpool Combat Club, mostly Pac and Cesaro or Claudio Castagnoli. And I'm thinking, like, yo, weren't the BCC supposed to have a trios match with Wheeler Yuta? Spoiler alert, that match did not happen. But go ahead and fast forward to the actual main event, and that's between Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. And this went exactly the way I thought it would. Darby, doing the best he can. He's literally throwing himself at Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley attempting to murder this man on national television. Hitting that swinging suplex on steel steps. Darby landed on the exposed concrete. He's bleeding and whatnot. Jon Moxley ended up getting the win. So now it is official at Wrestle Dream. It's going to be Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW Championship. And then after the match, you had the BCC beating up Darby. Bryan Danielson comes out to make the save. And then you have Private Party come out to make the save. And then Bryan Danielson closes out the show by yelling at Jon Moxley and saying that he's going to kick his effing head in. And that's how we end the show. Now, as far as everything else goes, the next match after the Danielson Nigel match was between Hook and Roderick Strong. And listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to BS you. I didn't pay attention. I was kind of, drifting off and doing other things. The match, from what I could see, was fine. You had the Undisputed Kingdom, running interference and beating up Hook, or trying to. Hook ended up beating up everybody with suplexes and kendo sticks. And then Hook made Roddy tap out with the Red Room. And at this point I was kind of thinking, well, why didn't the Undisputed Kingdom come back out into the ring and stop Roddy from tapping out? But I don't know. It is what it is. And then after the match, you have Roddy shaking Hook's hand. And then Hook is talking to Tony Schiavone. And I'm thinking, I hope what's going to happen actually happens. And what ended up happening is Hook officially retiring the FTW Championship in New York. He ends up giving the title back to his dad. And it was kind of a sweet moment. It was real cool to see father and son, bonding over the FTW Championship. Hook talked about what it meant to him and his family. And he thanked the fans for, supporting him and his FTW run. And I was like, thank you, God, because in the 3 years Hook has been wrestling, he's been Hook and he's been the guy with the FTW Championship. But he hasn't really moved on and advanced and done anything. He's pretty much been in the same spot since he debuted. So now with him being free of the FTW Championship, hopefully he can move on and do something else. Go after different championships. Maybe the TNT Championship. Hell, maybe even the International Championship. I don't know. But it was a pretty cool moment seeing Hook and his father Taz sharing that moment in New York with the FTW Championship. So next up we have, in my opinion, what was the match of the night, and that was for the AEW Tag Team Championships. You have the Young Bucks taking on the United Empire and Will Ospreay and Kyle, I'm gonna yell every time I do a move, Fletcher. And whew, this was exactly what I wanted it to be. This is exactly what I thought it needed to be. And in the past few weeks, the Young Bucks have been looking like the Young Bucks that I've been wanting to see. Ever since they won the tag team championships and they've been doing this whole EVP gimmick, it just seemed like they were kind of coasting and not really being the Young Bucks that, said that they were going to make a difference in the world of wrestling with the tag team division in AEW. But these past few weeks, we've been seeing those Young Bucks. And I don't mind this whole EVP character change that they're doing, as long as they wrestle like this. And if they keep putting on matches like that, you won't have any complaints out of me. And as far as Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher goes, you already know what they're going to get from them. You're going to get a whole bunch of flips, dives, and moonsaults and whatnot, double Oz cutters, the whole 9 yards, the whole kit and caboodle. And of course, you have that big bald dummy, Don Callis, on commentary. And as this match is going on, it's reaching its climax, it's coming to a close, it's Going home, as the kids like to say, you see Don Callis get up from the announcer's table and he hands Kyle Fletcher that damn screwdriver. I'm like, yo, I'm tired of him and that screwdriver. And it actually looked like Kyle Fletcher was going to cheat and do Don Callis' bidding and attack one of the Young Bucks with that screwdriver. But Will Ospreay said, hold on, bro. We're not supposed to win like this. We're supposed to do the right thing. And I can see, Will taking the screwdriver away from Kyle and throwing it. But what Will Ospreay ended up doing was he took the screwdriver from Kyle and gave it to the referee. And I'm like, what are you doing? You could have gotten disqualified and lost those tag team titles no matter what. The referee actually ended up letting the match continue. There were shenanigans and low blows and belt shots, and the Young Bucks ended up retaining their tag team titles. And this is kind of furthering that whole split between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher, with Kyle Fletcher leaning more towards what Don Callis wants to do, and Will Ospreay trying to be a good person and not being the man that Don Callis wants him to be. And I get that story dynamic. It was just the fact that Will Ospreay gave the screwdriver to the referee. I'm like, why would you do that? So after this, we had a backstage segment from the conglomeration, and they officially welcomed Rocky Romero into the team. And I like the fact that with the conglomeration, they just keep adding more people in there. And they're talking about their collision match against the Learning Tree, which I'm not looking forward to at all. But we didn't see Chris Jericho on the show, so that's a win. A win is a win is a win. Speaking of wins, Mariah May beat Yuka Sakazaki. Again, this was another match I didn't really pay attention to. I paid more attention to what happened after the match, and that was the fact that you had Mariah May going to attack Yuka. Willow Nightingale come out to make the save. And then you have Mina Shirakawa come out, and she's kind of looking like at Mariah, like, well, what are you doing? Why are you attacking Yuka? Why are you being mean to Willow? I mean, we're still cool, but yo, I don't really approve of what you're doing. So you kind of see what this is building towards. You have a few feuds lined up for Mariah May. The first one being with Willow Nightingale, and then we have the eventual feud between Mina and Mariah. So you got some cool stuff going on right there. So yeah, man, there you have it. There was your Dynamite review, your Grand Slam review. Overall fun show, man. Felt like a free pay-per-view, which, hey, if it's free, guess what, buddy? It's for me. But with that being said, guys, what did you think of MVP making his debut in AEW? What did you think about the show as a whole? Are you going to be checking out Grand Slam, Collision, and Rampage? Get ready to say goodbye to Rampage soon, because this new TV deal has a new show coming on FS1. So kiss Rampage goodbye. Say hello to Shockwave. But with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care. Be easy. I'm out. Peace.